And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around your real estate, credit, finance, estate plans, tax plans, so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Our number one goals are to educate, entertain, enlighten, but we want to engage you to help you win.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
We want you to save our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you're going to need it. 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-670-7372. Don't forget our number. Bookmark our website, consumerqb.com. I implore you to check out consumerqb.com. You'll find a plethora of information available for you there. You'll see links to all of our expert contributors, the folks that we've assembled, we vetted, we bring on the show to help you win. We don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder or if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work. This show's for you. Intelligent Talk Radio. We want to help you win. In studio today, Leo Kane, Beryl Engineering. Welcome in, sir.
Well, thanks for having me.
My
I'm excited
pleasure.
today. When you told me about the feel-good story pre-show, I just going to dedicate my whole segment to talking about the same topic.
Awesome. Yeah, so we're going to talk about New England Aquarium releases 14 rescued sea turtles back into the ocean. It'll be good stuff.
That'll be good. Yeah, we have we're very close relationships with the Tampa, Florida Aquarium. We dedicate 2% of our profits to sea turtle research and rescue, so I'm very excited to talk about that today.
Wow, that's nice. Very cool. And Scott Maurer back in studio as well. Advanta IRA, self-directed IRAs. Welcome back.
Hey, it's great to be back, Brandon. It's an interesting times out there. I think if you look at the stock markets, the world markets, I think the world in general, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of topsy-turvy things. People a little nervous about what's going on with their retirement accounts, and can kind of talk about ways to help guard against those other factors, things you don't have any control over.
Yeah, hedge against inflation, hedge against the stock market, the volatility. There's a lot of ways that you can control your future, your financial future, your investments. Scott Maurer, the best in the business, he's here to talk to you about it today with Advanta IRA, self-directed IRAs. And I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, owner of Platinum MVP Realty and a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay, helping our sellers profit more on the sale of their real estate properties. Maximum exposure for our listings, and I've got an example of that here. 9825 Wilski Boulevard in Tampa is a beautiful property, $1.5 million home. It's unique and ultra-modern, exquisite home, perfect for entertaining. Waterfront on a beautiful lake just outside of West Chase. You got to check this one out. Looking for my $1 million buyers out there. $1.5 million at 9825 Wilski Boulevard. Beautiful home, over 5,500 square feet. And also got a beautiful beach property available for you as well. 1024 Mandalay Avenue over in Clearwater Beach. It's a gorgeous 2-bedroom, 2-bath split floor plan, and it's in a beautiful north side of Clearwater Beach. You got bay access. You walk across the street, and you're up in the beautiful sugar sands of North Clearwater Beach. Great place to live, work, and play.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
And we want to give a shout out to Brio Tuscan Grill. Our official restaurant partner is Brio Tuscan Grill at the International Plaza. And they've got a special offer going out to our listeners and fans of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All you have to do is go in and tell them you heard about the show, you're a fan of the show, and you love Brio, and they were going to offer you a free appetizer. So appetizers on the Consumer Quarterback Show just by mentioning the show. Brio Tuscan Grill, 2223 North West Shore Boulevard at the International Plaza Mall. Go say hello to the friendly staff over at Brio, and we'd love for you to mention our name and get an appetizer, take them up on that offer. All right, let's jump right into it. So we've got Beryl Engineering, Leo Kane. He's a principal project manager here in studio. And what are you seeing out there, man? You guys are helping out with the aquarium. That's great.
Yeah, we formed a relationship a couple of years ago with the Tampa Aquarium. Eric's the assistant curator over there, and back in November, he talked to us about helping sponsor for the release of one sea turtle. And we donated to that, and we helped make it happen. It happened earlier this year where they actually rehabilitated and released a sea turtle, which was just awesome.
Really cool. Did you see it happen?
Did not see it happen, unfortunately. It happens when the turtle's ready, and I did see the Facebook posting of it.
Nice.
But it's neat. I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but our logo / mascot is a sea turtle.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's interesting. So especially when you look at the attack that the ocean seemed to be under today, with the plastics and the pollutants, going into the oceans. It's a food source for us. It's a major, it's a relaxation. The tourism. It's an economic driver. There's so many reasons why we need to protect the ocean.
Well, the plastics are really hard on the sea turtles because when the sea turtles are first growing up, they eat jellyfish, and from a distance, a plastic bag, a plastic ring, it looks just like a jellyfish. So they end up eating the plastic, and they can't digest it, so it kills them.
Man.
And it's really sad. Anytime any piece. Balloons, plastic bags, any of that. It's very dangerous for a sea turtle.
Yeah, and even the tops from the plastic bottles, those are very, those cause a big problem with them. So with Beryl Engineering, you guys can help folks in a lot of different areas. You're specifically an expert as well in the structural engineering side of real estate.
Well, yes. I mean, we're structural engineers, and we inspect the building envelope, which is the house itself. We do permit plan inspections. I actually just came from a permit plan inspection where this was interesting. The builder got an approved set of plans for the wrong house and then started building. So the plans on site didn't match what was at the building department. And then the owner found out about it and freaked out when that didn't match.
Wow.
It didn't line up. So we get called in on stuff like that to help sort through what should have been built and was that built to code.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. And then you start off, sometimes you build the project, you start off with putting pilings in the ground. Educate our listeners about that process.
I mean, and with any good house, it starts with the foundation. So you're talking about an elevated house. If you're in a flood zone AE in St. Petersburg, Pinellas County, Gulfport, your house has to be elevated off the ground. There's something called a base flood elevation, and everything has to be above the base flood elevation. So what they end up doing is they put piers, basically concrete piers, block piers, and you build your house above that. So you put your trusses or you pour your concrete, so your floor is now elevated. So if you have that 100-year flood, your house is above it.
Yeah, and even for our lake house, since it's close to it's a lot of organic materials close to the lake's edge or even a river's edge, you have you put in piers, and then sometimes it can even be kind of like telephone poles.
Yeah, they don't really allow those here, but in the older construction, though, those poles, you see them in the old movies, the New Orleans swamps. Though those helms are elevated on wood. We use concrete here in Florida, but that anything you can do to elevate the home. And back when I was doing hurricane restoration work back in 2004 to 2009, one of the things I saw was building your house 6 inches taller could have meant the difference between your whole house being flooded out versus just the first floor. And it was really sad when I saw that down in Bayou Vista and Tiki Island down in Houston.
Yeah, that's crazy. If you just joined us, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host. We got Leo Kane in the house. We're talking about structural engineering. We're talking about as well how his company supports the Marine Aquarium, Tampa Aquarium here in Tampa Bay as well. So, yeah, with that, so that's a pretty neat initiative that you guys set out. And you said, let's pick a charitable organization and donate.
Yeah, we do the Tampa Aquarium and the Ponce Inlet, which is Ponce Inlet's rescue is over in Daytona. We pick those two, and we donate 2% of profits every year to those organizations because I strongly believe in giving back to the community.
Yeah.
And this is a way we can give back to the community and to help preserve the future of the environment.
Yeah, that's important. Especially with Tampa Bay, too, you see there's things that were being said about the water supply in St. Pete last year. I haven't heard a whole lot about that. Have you heard anything with the runoff? I guess it'll happen again when rainy season starts, and the same hopefully doesn't happen, but the issues particularly, could happen again.
Yeah, I mean, there's a history of you get the runoffs from the plant cities and the other agricultural heavy zones with the nutrients, the phosphorus and the nitrogen in the soil, and then that's all runs off into the oceans and cause tide or algae blooms and things of that nature. It's harmful. I know they do a lot nowadays with the Southwest and South Florida water management districts to regulate the nutrients that are entering into arteries for rivers that will eventually end up in the ocean. So they do try and hone in on the nitrogen phosphorus cycle.
Yeah. I remember I grew up on the Caloosahatchee down in Fort Myers area, LaBelle, And I remember it showed up on one of the dirtiest list, I guess, in terms of the runoff, and because there's so much agriculture around that area.
Yeah, I mean, once you basically the fecal matter of other animals becomes fertilizer. Well, if you put all that in the drinking water supply, it's just my arms are flailing around. The radio listeners can't see that, but arms are showing the cycle of crap going into the drinking water, and then that needs to be cleaned out. But animals that live in that water don't have the luxury of our water purification system hitting it first.
Yeah. Yeah, you look at you wonder too sometimes when they're fishing in those muddy areas and they catch some bass or whatever type of fish, how much of that translates into the meat taste.
Yeah, because I remember growing up in those science classes, they teach you like this animal eats this animal, and this animal becomes sick because the animal that it ate got a hold of some mercury, it got a hold of some things that it shouldn't be eating, and that just passes up the food chain and it takes out the apex predators, and we're apex predators, so we got to be careful about that too. Yeah.
So eat healthy, eat organic, do what you can do. More plant-based diets, they say, is better for you. And so, do what you can do on those areas and eat, they say, lower on the food chain too. Speaking of the food chain, right? The grasses, the veggies, those types of things. All right, stay with us here, Consumer Quarterback Show. When we come back, we're going to have more with Leo Kane. We got Scott Maurer in the house as well. Scott's going to talk about self-directed IRAs, investment opportunities out there, things maybe to stay away from and things to focus on. And we have our feel-good story of the week. New England Aquarium releases 14 rescued sea turtles back into the ocean. Stay with us after this short break.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Once
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty, published author, professional speaker. Check out our book on Amazon, Become the MVP in your industry by surfing the radio waves. And we're taking that as part 2 now. We're teaching people how to start their own show, grow their celebrity. We're growing that nationwide. Partnered up with Ken Shamrock, UFC Hall of Famer, as well as WWF legend and champion Des Woodruff. Lindsay's on that as well. Really excited about that business, and we're going to be dropping some more about that later. But I want to give a shout out now to Mary Maids. Our official cleaning partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show is Mary Maids Cleaning Service. They do a great job cleaning our real estate properties. Satisfaction guaranteed by Mary Maids. Relax, it's done. And they have awesome cleaning crews that come in, clean the properties, and they are the recipients of the 2016 Women's Choice Award, America's most recommended cleaning services. Mary Maids, relax, it's done. And make sure you reach out, let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you for special incentives. And here in studio with me today, we got Leo Kane, Beryl Engineering, Scott Maurer, Advanta IRA, self-directed IRAs, ways that you can live a better life through controlling your finances and alleviating a lot of the stress that's out there. Scott, I know you talk to a lot of people every week, and what's kind of the pulse of the market out there? What are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean, I think at least the common theme that we hear, people we talk to wanting to, calling about our services and what we offer, which we can get into in a minute, is an uneasiness.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes without saying, I think these are different times. Obviously, whatever you think of the president, what he's doing, what other people doing, it's at least there's hype out there. There's a lot of moving forces. You see the Dow, gain 400 points one day, drop 500 the next, and then you tune and you get professionals who say, the market's doing just fine. If you just stay with it, we're going to be fine. And you have the expert on the other side said, we're due for a correction, we're due for a crash or whatnot, or recession coming up. So what that creates then for the average individual is this uneasiness, this uncertainty of where is my money, where is it parked, what is it doing, and where am I going to be in 3 to 5 years? Am I going to be that one who sells too late and ends up losing a significant chunk of their portfolio, or should I get out now or start looking for other types of assets? Mm-hmm. So that's why people are calling us. They want to know what other options do they have, things that their broker, their custodian they're working with now doesn't offer, and that's what we help them do.
Who a lot of times is not a fiduciary.
Correct.
If they're a wealth manager, they're a so-called wealth expert, and how much do they really know? What are they being told? What are they pushing on their clients? In a lot of cases, that's the questions I have.
Yeah, I mean, you have an advisor who do they truly have your best interest in mind? Are they pushing a product that they're supposed to? So if you actually have an advisor, how knowledgeable are they about other alternatives?
Right.
Or if you have an account, you simply open up an account with a brokerage firm and they have you fill out a questionnaire when you first sign up on your risk tolerance, your goals, et cetera. And they're having a computer at that point tell you what you should invest in. And you have nobody then really looking at after your account after that fact. So you don't really have an advisor at all. You just have an account with a brokerage firm and you think that your money invested there is in the right investments. But if you're not paying attention to it, they certainly aren't.
That's right. So one of the things too that's recently is kind of a trend is the cryptocurrency.
Sure.
So you mentioned there's so much information to take in now. It's like, wow, you got cryptocurrencies now, which is a total, for some people it's just like mind blowing. How does that affect your stock market and everything else?
Yeah, we have some people who've tested the waters on that with their IRA and kind of looking to get into cryptocurrency, whether they were buying a few months ago when it was hot, maybe they're looking to buy it now because they think it's the wave of the future. What we offer at Advanta that's unique to IRA custodians is the ability for you to invest your IRA outside of the market. So whether it is something like cryptocurrency where you have a feeling that I'm getting this at a good price now and the future is, I think this is where we're moving to, and buying it, or if it's simply buying that house next door. You're living in a house, there's a house next door, it's unoccupied, it's for sale, buying that house in your IRA, renting it to third parties.
Right.
Renting it to somebody else who's going to send a monthly rent check each month back to your IRA, deposits in your account. You got that property at a good price. You have some appreciation built in there as well. At least you're dealing with a hard asset that you can see, you can touch, and the market around you. So there's a lot of different things, again, you can do outside of the stocks, bonds, and mutual funds that your advisor is either telling you should do or you're put in a brokerage account where no one's looking after it, and that's just what they set you up with.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of challenges and a lot of confusion. There's geopolitical things out there. There's potential, issues with North Korea, which I've seen that's kind of calmed down. There's meetings going on.
Yeah, it's calmed down for now. And 3 months ago, we're almost at war with them, and who knows in the next 3 months what that's going to. And the same thing in the Middle East. Everything seemed quiet in the Middle East for a while. Now things are ramping back up with Syria and Russia. Yep. Again, what these things, at least to me, when the clients we talk to, the people we talk to, these are all outside of your control.
Right.
So what happens in North Korea, what happens in the Middle East, what happens in the stock market, you have no bearing on.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take the money in your IRA, you go buy that house across the street.
Yep.
Put a renter in there. You can control what that property looks like, who you're renting it to, what kind of rent you're charging each month, and then okay, my IRA, at least this portion, bought this property. I paid $150,000 for it. I'm renting it for $2,000 a month. That's what I'm getting back in my IRA.
That's
so
right.
If North Korea and the U.S., the conflicts escalate even more, you still have your tenant in that property.
Yeah.
Paying $2,000 a month. It doesn't matter what happens to North Korea. It doesn't matter what happens in the Middle East. It's a hard asset, and you're getting consistent cash flow.
That's right. An insurable asset. You can insure it. Worst case scenario happens. And also it's cash flow. So you got cash flow and you got tax advantages on top of that. By the way, if you just joined us, we're talking with Scott Maurer, Advanta IRA here in Tampa Bay. Puts on monthly events and webinars as well. You can reach out and we'll put you in touch with Scott at 813-670-7372. Our consumer advocate hotline, 813-670-7372. And so, Scott, let's talk about that side of it, the advantages of going through a self-directed IRA. Easy to set up, and then you also have the tax implications there as well.
Yeah, we make the process as simple as possible. It's just like opening up a bank account. You're giving us your information, you're naming beneficiaries, and then telling us where are my funds currently, and how to get them. We help you get them then moved over. So if it's an IRA to IRA, or maybe you have that old 401k, 403b sitting there, we help you get that rolled over. That's an easy process. We'll help you out with that. It keeps the money tax protected. That's one of the benefits that all IRAs have, is that money is a tax savings device. And so when you move that money over to us, it stays tax protected. And then when you make an investment, so you go back to the example, you buy a $150,000 property, you're getting $2,000 a month. That's what, 20-something grand a year back into your IRA account. That's all tax deferred or tax free, depending on the IRA that you have. So no tax implication to you whatsoever. That money continues to build in your account, giving you more and more money going forward to work with to buy that second property.
Yeah.
So after 5 or 6 years, you've built up enough money. Now I'm going to go acquire another property. Now I have 2 properties cash flowing back into my IRA. So what that does is just you're increasing your wealth more exponentially with a tax deferred vehicle like an IRA account.
So let me ask you a scenario. So you accumulate $100,000, you take the money out of the IRA to buy, or you buy through the IRA another property. So none of that's taxed.
No, not at all.
Through the IRA.
Yeah, but whether it's cash flow coming back in each month, that's tax free.
Yep.
If you were to buy a property, the house across the street, you buy it in the IRA, you pay $150 for it. Your IRA kicks in another 20 or 30 grand to repair it and remodel it, and you flip it. So you sell the property for 200 plus. All of that gain also is tax free back to your IRA account.
Right. That's such a win-win, man. It's such a great opportunity to, utilize what people already know as a solid asset, real estate, especially, in certain scenarios when you can buy, maybe you want to take out a loan and you go up for a conventional loan, you can buy 4 units through a conventional loan, pop that in your IRA. Now you're taking all that money as a tax-free dividend, basically.
Yeah, we've had a lot of uptick lately of people wanting to do multifamily properties. Because, if you get a duplex or a quadplex inside your IRA, you have 2 or 4 tenants paying rent back to your IRA account each month.
Right.
So it makes it, that's been something we've seen a lot more people looking to do.
Yeah, it's such a powerful move. And it's getting you away from the Enrons out there, all the stock market stuff that happens. You find, it seems like every other week we're hearing more about different types of corporate fraud or overstating earnings, falsely falsifying certain documents. A lot of the big players out there, they're doing these types of unscrupulous practices on a regular basis. And when you participate participate in the stock market, you're participating in that big picture of all of that. So by reaching out to Advanta IRA, Scott Maurer here is a local administrator or custodian that can help you with that. And you meet people at your office, Scott. Do you go to their office in certain cases or make house calls? How does that work?
We do. I mean, we're flexible. We can come to your office. We can meet at a Panera, Starbucks if that's better. But we also do, like you said, a lot of educational events at our office. We have lunch seminars. We also do online trainings. We have a YouTube page with all of the recordings from the events we've done. Really, we want people to be educated, know what's possible out there. Because again, most people don't know this is even possible. They rely on their stockbroker or their financial advisor to even tell them they have this option, but they have to go out and find it on their own.
Yeah.
And when they do that, they need someone to educate them on what's allowed, what's possible, and that's what we do.
Well, what a great day and time to be alive, right? It's the best time in the history of the United States, or the world rather, to be alive. You can go to the YouTube page, Advanta IRA. There's tons of videos there. We've got tons of videos from the Real Estate Quarterback Show over the years. Scott Maurer, longtime friend of the program. You can get educated at home, find out more about how you can take control of your financial future and be safe with your money. That's another thing. We work hard for our money. Let's be safe with our money. Let's protect it. And of course, we don't want to pay Uncle Sam as much as we need to, or the minimum amount possible rather. So stay with us here, Consumer Quarterback Show. More from our expert contributors here in studio, Leo Kane, Scott Maurer, and we have our feel good story of the week. New England Aquarium releases 14 rescued sea turtles back into the ocean. We'll see you right after this short break.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
Hi, my name is Joe Stalteri. I'm one of the owners of Complete Care Systems. At Complete Care Systems, we do carpet cleaning, upholstery cleaning, tile and grout sealing, wood floor and laminate floor deep cleaning, as well as stripping and waxing of linoleum and vinyl floors, and a whole lot more. We also run daily deals and special, which you can find at CompleteCareSystems.com, or simply call Trisha up at 727-364-5158, and she'll answer all your questions and give you over the phone free estimates. Or she'll send me out to your home or office to give you an on-site free estimate. At Complete Care Systems, we don't cut corners, we clean them.
Listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty, and a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay. And we're looking for agents to recruit to our brokerage, looking for real estate agents. We got a lot of leads coming in. and we need more agents to work these leads. PlatinumMVPRealty.com, PlatinumMVPRealty.com. Got a hot listing here up in Port Richey as well, 5105 Bay Boulevard. This is in the Martha's Vineyard subdivision, 3 bedrooms, 3 bath, over 6,200 square foot total on this beautiful property. Waterfront, you got gorgeous views overlooking the Gulf of Mexico here. Beautiful property, 14 feet above sea level as well. $563,000. Great opportunity here. And we have a beautiful St. Petersburg property, 297 45th Avenue Northeast, 3 bedroom, 2 bath. You're on a deep water canal with access to the bay. $499,000, over 3,100 square feet here. Split floor plan, pool home on a deep water access canal. What more could you ask for here in beautiful St. Petersburg area?
Somewhere sunny and 75.
And we have in studio today, we've got Leo Kane, Beryl Engineering, Project Engineering as well. Scott Maurer, Advanta IRA, Self-Directed IRAs. And I want to give a quick shout out to Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora on beautiful St. Pete Beach. Our official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show is Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora. They've got the Castile restaurant on site, breakfast, lunch, and dinner served. Beautiful boat docks. Pull your boat up, hang out by the pool, the hot tub. They've got beautiful rooftop lounge, the 360 lounge on the rooftops overlooking the Gulf of Mexico and the intercoastal waterways as well. Great place to hang out. Now, the best part is for our listeners, if you're listening to my voice right now, you can take them up on a 20% discount just by mentioning the Consumer Quarterback Show. Give them a call and book a room. Have a nice little staycation over at Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora on St. Pete Beach. All right, back here in studio, helping you win in any marketplace. That's the goal of our show. We've got 80-plus show partners here with the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we want to help you win in all areas of business, finance. We've got medical, health, all types of different ways we can help you. A lot about real estate on this show as well. 80-plus show partners, so we want you to think about this show as the hub of your financial wheel. Each spoke extending out, representing another one of our expert contributors, the finest folks in all of Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region that we've assembled, we've vetted, and we bring on the air to help you understand more about your buying decisions, helping you avoid a lot of that commission-based advice that's so prevalent in our communities out there. So let's jump back into it. So Leo Kane, Beryl Engineering, let's go back to you. Let's talk about, we've got James teed up for us a lot of, or some of the top rivers, since we're talking a little bit about the waterways and the oceans today. So we got top 10 rivers in Florida. What's your favorite?
I don't think I could name 10 rivers in Florida.
We got one right here in Tampa Bay.
Oh, the Alafaya?
Alafaya, let's see if the Alafaya is on this list, but we do have the Hillsborough River, just a half-hour drive from downtown Tampa, one of the most scenic rivers in the state. It's number 1 on the list, by the way, is the Hillsborough River, and it is 31 miles, designed canoe trail runs from Crystal Springs, the city of Tampa's Rolette Park, through upper reaches through a difficult, so it's saying the upper reaches can be difficult to paddle. But yeah, so, the riverways are, tributaries for the whole water flow system. So you got the Hillsborough River, Suwannee River, which is pretty popular.
Yeah, there's a song after that one.
Made famous by the song Old Folks at Home by Stephen Foster. The river starts in Okefenokee Swamp in Georgia and twists and turns for 207 miles before emptying into the Gulf of Mexico near the town of Suwannee.
Yeah, there's the St. John's River.
St. John's, that's up Jacksonville area, right?
Yep.
Let's see if St. John's made it on here. Yeah, it did. St. John's River is one of the only few rivers in the Western Hemisphere that actually flows north. Can get big, wide, and rough. But in the upper reaches, especially above Blue Springs Run, the river is still as wild as it was 250 years ago when the first explorers paddled its waters. That's pretty neat how the river runs north. How does that happen?
It's out of Lake Okeechobee, so it goes going to the ocean, so it's got to go from Lake Okeechobee over to the ocean. It goes north.
Interesting. My mind's still trying to comprehend how a river runs north. I don't know.
Water just wants to go. Water seeks ground. So I mean, if the lake's in the center of the state and we have the Atlantic and the Pacific, they're just gonna travel. Again, hand gestures, which radio people can't see.
Yeah, hand gestures.
The water's going to travel to the ocean, and the St. John River runs in the north direction.
So the river I grew up on, I referenced earlier, is not on the list. The Caloosahatchee River.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big river, I would think.
That's the other river coming off Lake Okeechobee.
Yeah, it comes off and it goes over to Fort Myers, and then it goes over to West Palm Beach, over that way. So I remember growing up, we'd see those big yachts coming through, and it was perfect timing when we had our jet skis out there near the Sea-Doos. Hit time that wake out right, and literally go about 20 feet in the air with those things.
Well, actually, one of the things I learned about a couple of days ago, what do you think the longest river in the U.S. is?
Longest river? That's going to be the one that empties off in over Louisiana there. What is that one? What river is that? The Mississippi?
I'm guessing you're saying it's not the Mississippi.
It's not the Mississippi. It's actually the Missouri, which is a tributary of the Mississippi. I learned this. I lost a trivia game over this question because I was like, "Oh, Mississippi, I know this one." They're like, "No, it's the Missouri."
Gotcha. Yeah. So when you look at the rivers, a lot of times in Florida, especially with St. Pete, Clearwater, we hear all the accolades of the best beaches, the best voted by TripAdvisor, and all these different places. But when you look at the rivers, man, we got some really cool rivers and lakes here in Florida.
I was going to say the Hillsborough River is interesting because you have parts of it that go through, wealthier areas or even through downtown, which are more scenic. You see people on, higher speed boats going through on a pleasure. But I know that back from when I was in, I think, 6th or 7th grade, they took us as a field trip out where you can actually get on a canoe and it's much narrower.
Right.
And there's alligators and snakes and all kinds of things right in the river too. So it's kind of, you have the two different worlds of the same river and not too far from each other.
Yeah, it's awesome. And the cool thing about Freedom Boat Club also around here is they got one right there on the river at Rick's on the river. So you just kind of cruise right in there. You take in that whole scene downtown and Davis Island, Harbor Island, you go cruising back there. I heard a funny story, not real funny, but I guess which perspective you're in, but one of the boaters actually sunk a boat out there on the little island, Beer Can Island or one of those. Yeah.
Are we supposed to get a ferry system on the Hillsborough River at some point? They were supposed to extend the trolley system from Ybor, Channelside, downtown, and then we were supposed to get some kind of ferry system from North Hillsborough River down into downtown as well.
Well, there is some water taxis down there.
Yeah,
I think it may just be in the downtown area that it's a couple different stops.
Yeah, that's one of the infrastructure challenges that Florida or Tampa Bay has is just seeing more of an infrastructure along the lines of better buses or even at some point in the future there's going to be some kind of a high-speed rail.
We need to get those mayors back in here and have them talk about that short-lived ferry system we had from Channelside to downtown St. Pete. That was
what
fun.
happened with that? I haven't heard a whole lot lately on that. They canned it, tax money.
I was going to say, or that was election year and there was talk about it.
It was
now
awesome.
that we've been elected, we don't need to talk about it anymore.
Maybe
I could hop on a trolley in Ybor, get drunk in Channelside, end up in St. Pete, black out, wake up the next morning, hop on the ferry, and get back into Ybor. It was awesome, and I didn't have to drive, and I didn't have to use Uber or Lyft. I mean, it was phenomenal. I loved it.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. I mean, the more options we have, I think, is going to help. Plus, the congestion is just getting worse and worse in Tampa. Clearwater going to the beaches every day. You're looking at just backed up.
I was going to say there's only so many more roads they can build. There's not room for it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I always dread. We have an office in St. Pete, and I always dread. And if I I'm like, I gotta leave this office by 3:45, or I'll never make it home. Because that bridge is just where 6 lanes become 3, become 2, and then it goes off into 2 other major highways. It's always a nightmare.
Yeah, it is.
I did see they okayed, I guess, the plan to right where the Howard Franklin coming into Tampa, expanding that area. But they're gonna have to wait probably 2 or 3 years before that's even done.
Yeah.
I mean, they obviously haven't started on it yet, but they are going to expand.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, those lanes. I think they're even going to build some additional lanes onto the Howard Franklin at some point. But at least that area where it comes into the West Shore area, that's where all the bottleneck happens.
Yeah, we need it. I think that's one of the challenges that we get. When we in the past when we were bidding on the big conventions, the Republican National Convention, the Democratic, all the different conventions, that was why we got overlooked. It's what I heard in a lot of cases was because of our infrastructure. We'd lose out to Minneapolis, St. Paul, St. Paul, Minnesota, just different areas. So the infrastructure is a challenge, and the crosstown was that's a great example of how it can work. When I hit that crosstown and I'm running appointments out east. Man, it's just a nice, easy drive, and you're there quick.
I was going to say, I live off the Veterans, and they made some recent changes to the Veterans, expanding the lanes, adding express lanes, and the commute is night and day from what it used to be. I mean, there's an accident on there, you're always going to have a backup, but other than that, that's been a good improvement.
Yeah, it has.
So-
And I like the idea of having that lane that's an alternate lane. So in the morning rush hour, this goes this way, rush hour the other way. That's the best way to rock it. All right, stay with us here, Consumer Quarterback Show. More from our expert contributors. We're going to jump into our lightning round. Coming up, we're going to have top tips, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom from our expert contributors, Scott Maurer, Advanta IRA, Leo Kane, Beryl, Project Engineering. And our feel-good story of the week, New England Aquarium releases 14 rescued sea turtles back into the ocean. Stay with us here, Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey everybody, I'm Forbes Riley, celebrity TV fitness host and creator of The Spin Gym. I'm here today with Brandon Rhymes, and you're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great ways to get happy, healthy, and wealthy.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Enjoy tranquil seclusion in an eco-lover's paradise. Paddling through the mangroves where the only sounds you'll hear are the sounds of nature. Because you deserve to relax on vacation, visit Pasco County, Florida.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. In studio today, Scott Maurer, Advanta IRA, self-directed IRAs, ways that you can take control of your financial future. Leo Kane, Beryl Engineering, project manager with Beryl Engineering as well. And we have our feel-good story coming up. Find out about these 14 rescued sea turtles. And we have our lightning round as well. Before we jump into that, I want to let you know about a hot listing here in Tampa in the Carrollwood area. That's a beautiful listing in Carrollwood, 15648 North Himes Avenue, 5 bedrooms, 4 baths. This is in the North Forest Village, $485,000, over 4,300 square feet, pool home on a cul-de-sac. Beautiful property, compliments of PlatinumMVPRealty.com. And we've got 6508 Bimini Court, Apollo Beach as well, 3 bedrooms, 3 baths. Fisherman's Paradise here. You got a direct shot out into the bay. 6508 Bimini Court, 3 bedroom, 3 bath, $690,000, over 5,600 square feet. And it's a beautiful 2-story pool home on a saltwater canal. Check out PlatinumMVPRealty.com for all of our real estate listings. And you can see the beautiful photography as well by Fabre Frameworks. They do a great job on all of our real estate photography. Fabre Frameworks as well. All right, so let's go back to Leo Kane, Beryl Engineering, helping people when it comes to real estate decisions, your residential, commercial real estate, structural engineering, sinkhole issues, a lot of cool things that you can help people with.
Yep, I'm sitting here nodding, which the radio listeners can't see, but I'm sitting here nodding. That sounds all great. I loved everything you just said.
Yeah. So you're helping people. Maybe give us a little recent success story or something that's happening, with Beryl. What are you guys up to?
Oh, we're about to hire 2 more people.
Nice.
So, we're constantly expanding. We're up to about 45 inspections a week. It's been consistent. We still can't get to everyone that's calling in, so the solution would be to add more people.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you added office staff or outside?
We're actually looking for more inspectors right now. We're looking for another engineering inspector to help with our sinkholes, stuccos, roofing, and then we're looking for another home inspector to help with the thing I don't talk about on the show.
Right. There you go. Then you've got the structural engineering is the sinkhole. That's where it gets into, trying to understand more about, again, back to that foundation. That's the most important aspect of a home. Sometimes you walk into the home and the door just rolls, one way or the other on its own, right? It's supposed to be level.
Yeah, I mean, the houses will naturally settle in the first 5 to 7 years, but if it's built on a solid foundation and in the compacted soil, that should be about it. Just some minor hairline cracks here and there, seal them, you're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's just if the soil's not properly compacted or there's voids that are opening up in the subsurface levels and the house starts shifting rapidly or randomly, that's when you might have a problem.
Right. So also with Scott Maurer here at Advanta IRA. So when people are looking for options, they're looking for ways to take monies that may be volatile right now in the stock market. Again, and one thing I wanted to mention earlier when we're talking is student loan debt. That's one of the biggest question marks in our economy right now is student loan debt. There's trillions of this floating out there. What's the impact going to be? How big will that impact be on ordinary Americans that are, trusting that their hard-earned money they put in these different investment accounts. And a lot of times people pull money out of their paycheck, they put it into a 401k and they call that a retirement plan. It's a good start, but a lot of issues that we have to think about in these next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, it all rolls into kind of, I guess, the fact that people don't really understand the underlying investments that they might have in a brokerage firm. So you're taking that money each month, 401k, putting it into a mutual fund or stock. What are you actually investing in? I don't know how many people out there have seen the movie The Big Short. I rewatched it again recently, and how the whole financial crisis in 2008 was largely built upon a few people knowing really what was going on. A lot of people just going along for the ride. Hey, my portfolio is going up. Market must be doing well. Economy must be doing well. But underlying all that was some bad loans, some bad debt that people were hiding and repackaging. So
yeah, isn't that crazy? You got so many millions of Americans contributing to, this big economy, but there's really it's almost like puppets up there with a string. They're controlling everything. Again,
that's what the people who come to us and are looking to add a rental property or even raw land for that matter to their IRA. That's their thought is I'm playing it's a rigged game. I know it's a rigged game. What else can I do with my money instead?
Right.
And I think you touched on a little bit earlier. One of the things that I think is enticing about real estate, and this was somebody I just talked to a couple days ago. Real estate's a finite resource. This gentleman was looking at buying land or whatever waterfront property. There is only so much waterfront property that's out there.
Right.
So if he can find a piece at a good price, lock it in. To him, that's a much better investment. It's solid, it's finite, much better than putting the money in the stock market.
Yeah. Especially you look at real estate, you look at where we're at with the economy, and then I think even more so with our listeners. We're all the way up to the Panhandle. We're down to Port Charlotte, Naples on one of our signals. We go down to Naples, Fort Myers, and so our listening audience. How much if let's say the student loan debt did hit. And nationally, it's going to impact a lot of other neighborhoods more so than, let's say, Clearwater, St. Pete, Tampa, for an example. How do you measure that? Then it gets into, prognostication. But, the number one thing is at some point, if you hold on to that asset, people have to live somewhere and you're going to have your money back, your appreciation back at some point.
Well, I think especially if you look at Florida, I mean, our population grows every time we do a census. We're growing. People are still moving to Florida.
Yes.
And I think from an investment standpoint, again, real estate's finite, so there's only so much of it to go around.
Yes.
And on top of that, you have, I think, studies are showing different generations have different thoughts about home ownership. So, maybe back in the 50s, 60s, people were thinking more of you buy a home, your investment isn't investing in your own home. Different generation, the millennial generation wants to be more mobile. They're not interested in buying a house and being tied to one house. They'd much rather rent.
Right.
More people willing to rent, better investment that real estate makes from that standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
it's a big pool.
Yeah, that's what our clients are doing.
And they're collecting 30% more on rents than that actual renter could purchase the home for if he had good credit. And a lot of them may not have good credit.
That reminds me of a sad story. About a decade ago, I had a coworker who wanted to be more mobile, didn't want to purchase a home, and I sat down with him. I'm like, "You want to be mobile?" He's like, "Yeah, I want to be mobile." And I'm like, "So how long have you been in this apartment?" He's like, 7 years. And I'm like, "Let's just sit down and do the math."
Yeah.
And he had given his landlord $85,000 in rent.
Yeah.
And we sat down about this because his landlord was offering to sell the place to him for $70,000. He's like, "I want to stay more mobile." I'm like, "If you took him up on the offer a decade ago, you'd already own the place."
Yeah.
Outright.
Yeah, exactly.
I just don't understand. There's you got to live somewhere. You might as well make it an investment account.
Yeah, I think we're sometimes short-sighted as human beings. We just see the shortness, but we don't understand the long-term play. We underestimate what we can do in a year, or we overestimate rather what we can do in a year. We set these big goals, but then we underestimate in 5 years. By doing it slowly improving, and getting to that point. So sometimes you slow down, you look back 5 years, and you say, "Wow, we have come a long way." But when you're in the moment, it doesn't feel like it's as fast.
Yeah, I was going to say, and in Leo's example, our client is the landlord. He's the one that has that $70,000 or $80,000 asset, gets $85,000 in income over 7 or 8 years, and then is able to still sell the property on top of that. So
great point.
You do that inside your IRA, and all that's tax free.
Yeah, great point, Scott. All right, let's jump into our positive story of the week and our Tell Me Something Good.
Tell me something good.
All right, so we got a New England aquarium releasing 12 rescued sea turtles back into the ocean. So the the turtles were found stranded on Cape Cod beaches last December due to severe hypothermia after failing to migrate south. The turtles were taken to the Aquarium Sea Turtle Hospital in Quincy, Massachusetts, where they were treated and rehabilitated for several months. Biologists determined that the turtles were ready to be released, but there was one problem. The ocean temperatures off the coast of Massachusetts were still too cold. Sea turtles preferred the temperatures in the 70s, so aquarium staff and volunteers took a road trip to Florida to release the sea turtles back into the ocean.
So what happened to the other two? You said 12. Earlier you said 14. What happened to my other two turtles?
I don't know. I don't see. Maybe I said 12 by mistake because I don't see 12 on this sheet here.
Okay.
But yeah, so they wanted to take their trip to Florida too, just like everyone else. And earlier we were mentioning the population a while back too. Florida went from number 4th populated state in the union to the number 3rd, surpassing New York. So yeah, so the trend is there. The real estate's hot, and furthering your point, Scott, of an Advanta IRA, buying real estate. We've got a great team that can help you buy that real estate as well. Lots of ways to jump into that. So let's do a quick lightning round here.
The lightning round!
I am so good at lightning rounds!
I majored in lightning rounds.
Leo Kane, top tips.
When you're at the beach this summer, if you see a little roped off section with a sign in front of it, please stay out. It is a sea turtle nest.
Stay out of the sea turtle's nest.
Yeah, stay out of the sea turtle's nest. Little roped off triangle section.
And it's illegal to make sea turtle soup, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Jonathan, it's illegal.
And Scott Maurer.
Top tip, it's a lightning round, go Bolts, number 1.
That's right.
Root for our lightning. We got Boston coming into town. Let's take care of business and then move along. On a retirement side of things, again, look over your financial statement, know what you're getting into. And I would say just attend one of our webinars, at least get your eyes open to it. What we do may not be for you.
Yeah.
But you can come to one of our webinars, come to one of our events. It's all free. You just go to either advantaira.com or we have easier to remember what'sinyourira.com. You can go there.
What'sinyourira.com.
So go there, get educated, come to one of our classes, and we'll take it from there.
Be proactive. That's what we talk about, being proactive here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I want to thank our expert contributors, Leo Kane, Beryl Project Manager with Beryl Engineering, Scott Maurer, Advanta IRA. We want you to go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Pack up some food, carry it with you to and from your commute, hand it to that person that you see in need. Be a force for good in the community out there. Do something kind for your neighbors. Do something kind for one another. And check us out on Facebook.com, Brandon Rhymes PA. We've got got the Consumer Quarterback Show pages as well as the Real Estate Quarterback Show page at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter. And stay tuned. We'll see you on tomorrow's show. Great lineup for you as well. Barron Property Management on the tomorrow's show. So stay with us. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show, weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380. The Biz.